So this is Ostranauts, and I've been wanting to check this out for a while because it's similar to other games that I've covered on this channel. So if you think about games like Objects in Space, also Duskers and Nauticrawl, which I recently did a review for, it's that same sort of thing where you have this interface and you use that to pilot a ship, but then it's also got elements of other games in it. So I think the closest would maybe be something like Space Haven, where it's also got that crew management element, although this is more early access compared to that game. And also like RimWorld, so it's kind of got that management aspect, people management aspect to it, but then as I said, it's also similar to things like Objects in Space. So I am going to jump into one of my games here, and then we're going to talk about what this game is all about. Right, so we are in one of the ships that I've salvaged. So when you start out this game, you basically get this small, almost like tin can basically that you're in. It's got very few, it's basically just capable of flying around, but it doesn't have a lot of space. And then what you're supposed to do is you basically fly around and you explore these derelicts until you find one that is at least sort of close to being salvageable, that you can just sort of fix up and use as your own ship. And that's basically what I've done here. So over here, this is what you use to basically fly the ship. Then we've got a couple of other rooms in here. Actually, I haven't been down here in a while. So this is kind of like the kitchen area. It's just got a fridge in there. There's a lot of scrap still lying around that I'll need to take care of at some point. Then I've got some beds over here. There's kind of the bathroom area. And this is the reactor, and I'll quickly show you the reactor. So this is where I say that it's similar to things like Objects in Space, because it's also got all of these interfaces. So when the reactor is switched off, you basically have to go through this whole process to get it up and running. So that's pretty cool. And then this is connected via these conduits to batteries. There's also a system over here. So this system, I believe, controls the RCS thrusters that you use. There's also, so we have these two air pumps. One has got oxygen and the other one has nitrogen in it, just to regulate the air pressure. And then you have these tanks that you basically use to power these two tanks that you use to power the reactor. And then you have heating and cooling systems regulating the temperature. These can be connected to sensors as well. And yeah, I'm currently docked with another ship that I wanted to salvage. So this is kind of my ship's airlock. It's got a couple of crates in here. And I'll show you, so if I want to move across to the other ship, so I don't currently have a helmet for a proper EVA suit, but I do have this pressure suit. So basically, you can use this for short stretches, just if you need to go into low pressure or no pressure environments. So we'll just close this door. I use this room as an airlock. It's probably a little bit big. Should maybe make a smaller airlock for this, but then I can open the door into the other ship that I want to go to. So we'll just do that. And now I can go into one of the other derelicts. So you'll see that some of the atmosphere is now flowing into this ship. This ship isn't actually, it does have holes in it basically. So that means that all of this pressure will just get released into space. Like here's a hole, and you can either build walls or you can patch up places where the ship has ruptured, or you can fix it completely. So different options. But any of these ships in theory should be salvageable. You can fix these conduits, you can put in all the parts that you need, but it is kind of like, you are kind of like a mechanic in space here. You have to find stuff and salvage parts and use that to build a ship, and that's what makes this game really cool and unique. And I will put a review out on this, one of my sort of 5-minute shorter reviews, but for now I just wanted to give my first impressions on the game. So what I can do here, for example, I think the one thing that my ship currently needs is a faster way to be able to pressurize the ship if something goes wrong. So I can uninstall these air pumps. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I can basically, yeah, just click on uninstall over here. I'm not sure if I clicked on the right one. Air pump, yeah, that is the right one, okay. So I can uninstall this. I'm just going to speed up time a bit to speed up this process. There we go. And then I can pick up this air pump. So now it is in my inventory. We'll take another one. So I'm going to go ahead and uninstall this as well. There we go. Okay. So, right, so that's been picked up. And then, of course, all of this stuff can be picked up and it can be used. It can either be used on your own ship or you can go and sell it if you go to a trading post. And it's probably just a good idea to keep these airlocks. So, well, I'll close up this airlock. And just in case we decide to fly somewhere, I will close up this one as well. So this is for our ship. This is basically where the docking port is. So this is where the two ships are currently docked. And now when I open this door, you'll see that the pressure will... so this is currently a vacuum. But effectively, once I do this, you'll see we'll get the air starting to flow in here. So we can take off this suit now. It's also a nice effect that when you have the suit on, that kind of removes a lot of the sound that you would ordinarily hear. Yeah, so now we can go over here and we can install these additional air pumps. I've never actually done this before. I think we just go to the build menu, HVAC, where is it? Air pump. Then we just need to rotate it into the right position. Will this work? Do we need more space? I think this will work. Do one more over there. Alright, so we'll just speed things up a bit. I think even more. So the game does play in real time, it seems. And I'm not sure why exactly that decision was taken. Now, one issue that I currently have in my ship is that the atmosphere keeps getting too cold, and I think it's because it might have something to do with where the sensors are positioned. So one way to get around that is I can just get into this control panel and override the auto, so just switch it to be always on. I don't know if that's eventually going to cause an issue where things are too hot, but I think that it's probably a control system issue where by the time the sensor realizes that it's too cold, it's, you know, the sensor's not in the right position or something like that, so it's already too cold, so it's not really keeping up with the sensor. But I'm just going to keep it switched on for now. And then of course I can put these extra canisters in here. So the easiest way to do that would be to just go and get some extra canisters from the other ship, but I'm just going to cut that out of the video because it might be a bit boring to watch, and then we'll be back once I've brought back those other canisters. Okay, so I've just come back and I've basically taken a bunch of O2 and into canisters here. So I'll just remove this pressure suit again, no reason to wear it on this side. So you'll hear the alarms going off basically for the pressure systems, just because I'm equalizing the pressure again. It seems that the heat is okay now. Where is the heat? Just want to see, is this the thermostat? Yes, it is. Let's see if we can adjust this. I've never actually tried to adjust it. Okay, so it's either on or off. And okay, I guess so. It probably has a preset setting, this one. So basically then we can just quickly go and we'll install... One second. So we will go ahead and we'll install these canisters as well. So another nitrogen canister, and we'll also do another oxygen canister. That's also just going to make it easier when we have to switch out canisters, because of course if you are switching them out, if you've only got one of these, it means that it can't regulate the pressure while you're doing this. Okay, so that's sorted out. Now, okay, I think I'm just gonna, okay, now the atmosphere is too hot, so clearly this doesn't work either. I'll figure out how to fix this later. We're just going to switch this back to auto. That'll probably switch off the heater. I wonder if both of these are taking electricity. It does seem a bit wasteful to have a heater on one side and a cooling system on the other side, both running at the same time. I would actually think that it might make sense to switch one of these off. Let's have a quick look here to see how much fuel we still have left. Yeah, we're still looking good on that. So I recently switched this one out. But let's go on, and I want to show you how the flight works. So I don't know if I just saved, but let's just quickly save here. And then I'm going to move over here to the flight deck. And okay, so we'll get into the ship. So it gives you some instructions here in terms of how to fly. And again, this is what I meant when I said that if you think about all of these games, Nordic Crawl, Duskers, Objects in Space, this is where it feels very similar to that. I do wonder if this will get old after a while. Once you've done this enough, at some point, it is going to, you know, sort of get old to do this. But I definitely do like this engaged way of traveling around. And I do know that the developer is going to bring an update where you can ask your basically crew to do this, to fly to places and to dock for you. But actually, before we do that, I'm just seeing that we're getting a bit hungry here, so we're just going to take one of these. What do we have? Mystery meat and surprise sauce. That sounds very ominous. Okay, so great, now he is fine. So we're just going to get back into the navigation station here. Now basically, first thing we want to do is we want to undock from the ship that we're currently docked at. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. Right, now we can disengage the clamp, and we're just going to push back slightly. And then we are just going to switch across to the map controls here. How do I actually keep it from centering? Because I'm trying to target that. I'm gonna head over there. I'm just gonna clear this. This proximity alarm, I think that they need to they need to just, I don't know, turn down the audio on that slightly, because it does get annoying after a while. But we'll just sort of try to fly backwards here. Now you do need to be careful. That green circle is actually a planet, so if you fly into it, you will crash and most likely die, because the amount of damage that that will do will probably be more than your you would be able to fix in any reasonable amount of time. The other thing that I've learned is if you are traveling around, it's better to use fast travel, or to speed up the time rather, as opposed to just trying to fly really fast. So this is your velocity relative to the target that you're flying towards. This is essentially the fuel that I have left. Now, the reason why I say that is because if you're coming in really fast, it might be difficult for you to slow down. Again, we're getting the proximity warning here. I think it's because of this ship that we're passing, but we should be well clear of this one. Let's just see. I think it should be okay. Yeah, we've cleared it. So we'll just try to... okay, maybe this is not the best thing to be doing while I've got the time sped up. I am used to flying a much smaller craft because I haven't had this one for very long, so I'm still getting used to the size of this ship. I'm going to speed this up again. So we're still not quite on the course that we need to be. But we want to fly, kind of clear these two ships, clear the planet, then we can sort of fly up from there and try to get back towards that station. I think this is the fastest you can do in terms of time acceleration. Yeah, so if you do want to travel faster, these are other interceptors. I don't know if they're hostile. I haven't had them do anything yet. They haven't tried to dock with me or something. I'm not sure if combat is a thing in this game, or if it is a thing in this game yet. I'm assuming that it will be at some point. But let's just have a look here. Try to change course a bit. So I'm kind of breaking my rule here of not traveling too fast, I guess. But we still have plenty of fuel, so we should be okay. And we're not on course to hit anything. but we'll just keep traveling, and then we're going to try to even out the speed here a bit. It costs a lot more fuel, as you would expect in this larger ship. The ship that you start out in is really small, but in the large ship, as I said, you need quite a bit of fuel to change course like this. Okay, we're still on a course. Just want to try and even out the velocity here. Then we're going to turn towards the target, just like this, and start accelerating towards it. So I'll go up to about 100 meters per second here. I assume that's the metric that we're using. And then we'll just fast forward until we get into range, and we'll request docking permission at that stage. Just try to fix the... Okay, I think we can start slowing up slightly, just to play it safe. Because if you mess up here, there really is no... that's kind of it. If you hit something, you're going to be done for. Okay, I'm going to clear this because it is slightly annoying, and we'll just wait until we're within the 5 kilometer range, and at that point you can request docking permission. So now we can go ahead and do that. Ask for docking clearance, and if you're lined up correctly, you'll immediately see the dock, and now you basically just need to line up. When you get to, I think, below around 600 meter range, you can engage the docking clamp. So you want to really slow up once you get to about 1 kilometer away. When you do it for the first time, probably even before that, but once you start getting used to doing this, you can wait a little bit further into it. Oh, I don't know why. That's really strange. Usually the range is a lot further. I don't know why we could dock at 2 kilometer range. It did seem very close. But, okay, so that's that. Now, I do believe this place should have atmosphere of its own, so we shouldn't need to put on the pressure suit. But we'll just save and before we go in here. So the game isn't Iron Man. You do only get one save from what I can see, but you can reload that save, so we can go ahead and walk into this facility. And basically, so here's a supply station where you can trade and basically sell and buy stuff. See if there's anything useful. I do actually need an EVA helmet, and I think I do have enough money to buy one, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Well, let's just double check before I do that, because I was relatively certain that I did have an EVA suit somewhere. I think I stored it in this crate. Just have a look. Now the benefit of this over the pressure suit is that this is a powered EVA suit. So with the pressure suit, if I understand it correctly, you basically have to be within atmosphere when you start using it, and then you'll be okay. With the EVA suit, it's got its own power, it's got its own oxygen, so you can put it on under any circumstances and use it for extended periods of time. And now we can basically walk around, we can interact with people over here. I haven't experimented with this a whole lot. So this person sees us as a friend, we see them as a friend. So potentially we can ask them to join us as part of our crew. So let's just have a look if that works. Great, so this person's now a member of the crew, that's interesting. But yeah, right now, basically, so the first part of the game I think is the most interesting, where you have to fly around into these derelicts, find one that's sort of not broken too badly, and then start patching stuff up and fixing stuff and trying to get it to a point where you can actually fly it around, and then you can of course go to more derelicts and further sort of upgrade your ship and put more thrusters in it and so on. Beyond that, I'm not sure how much there is to do. I guess you can go and take parts and sell them as well. But it's a pretty interesting game, so I would like to hear from your side as well. I think, like Tin Can, this is going to be another one of my regular games that I'm going to cover. All of the major updates, I'll put out something on that. I will be posting a review of this at some point as well, just to talk about the game more in general. So let me know if you have played this, what do you think of it? If you haven't, are you considering buying it? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, if you do like this kind of content, do like and subscribe. and I'll see you for the next video.